You just got the call. The offer came through on a Thursday, $42,000 above what you were making, a title bump, and for the first time in your career, you'd be leading a team instead of joining one. You give your notice that same afternoon. You spend the next 2 weeks in this quiet, private kind of euphoria, the kind you don't fully let yourself show because you don't want to jinx it. The onboarding packet arrives the following Monday. 41 pages. You read every single one. Your first day is a Tuesday in early March. You show up 12 minutes early. Your new manager, calm, measured, professional, takes you into a glass-walled conference room and walks you through what she calls the integration timeline. 90 days. That's the phrase she keeps using. 90 days to get oriented, 90 days to understand the culture, 90 days before you start making real contributions. She says it like she's doing you a favor, like 90 days is a gift. You nod, you take notes on everything. What you don't see is what she does after you leave the room. She walks back to her office, opens a file on her desktop, and finds your name in the third row of a spreadsheet you will never see. Next to your name are 4 columns: 30-day read, 60-day read, 90-day decision, and a final column labeled simply outcome. She types 2 words under your 30-day read: to watch. Then she closes the file and goes to lunch. Hey everyone, it's Soluna. Welcome back to Soluna versus the System. Today we are breaking down one of the most misunderstood dynamics in your entire professional life, the 90-day evaluation, what it actually is, what your company is genuinely measuring during that window, and the exact moves that separate the people who break through from the people who quietly get managed out without ever understanding why. Let's get into it. Here's the first thing you need to understand. The 90-day period is not designed for your benefit. I know that's not how it's framed. The onboarding language makes it sound generous. Take your time, get comfortable, settle in. But the reason this structure exists in nearly every major company in roughly the same form has nothing to do with your learning curve. It exists because 90 days is the ideal window for a company to evaluate a new hire before the cost of keeping them starts to compound. Think about what's actually happening during those 90 days. Your benefits haven't vested yet. Your equity, if you were offered any, won't trigger until month 6 at the earliest. And buried somewhere in that onboarding packet you read so carefully is a severance clause that specifies terminations within the first 90 days require no payout beyond accrued salary. The company didn't give you 90 days to settle in. They gave themselves 90 days to decide at the lowest possible cost to them. Kevin read that paragraph on page 34. He just didn't understand what it meant structurally. And that gap between what a policy says and what it actually does is exactly where the 90-day trap lives. Here's where it gets genuinely important. Because Kevin was doing everything a new hire is supposed to do. He was absorbing the org chart, learning names, attending every optional meeting, staying 30 minutes past end of day to be visible, volunteering for a cross-functional task force that nobody else wanted. He thought he was proving he could learn the job. His manager, Christine, was watching for something else entirely. Not whether he could learn the job. She already assumed he could. That's why they hired him. She was watching whether his judgment matched the environment, whether the way he processed ambiguity signaled confidence or hesitation, whether the questions he asked revealed someone actively building a mental model of the organization, or someone waiting to be told what to do next. These two things look identical from the outside. Kevin demonstrating readiness and Christine measuring fit happen in the exact same meetings, the same hallway conversations, the same email threads. The difference is that Kevin thought the scoreboard was visible. Christine knew it wasn't. And there's another layer here that made it even harder for Kevin to see clearly. The 90-day window compresses something that would normally build slowly. In a regular professional relationship, trust develops over months. People surface concerns carefully. Feedback moves through appropriate channels over time. But inside a 90-day evaluation, the new hire is running slightly above their sustainable pace, displaying slightly more initiative than they'll actually maintain long-term, suppressing doubts they'd normally raise out loud, and experienced managers know this. The version of you they see in month 1 is a performance, and they're calibrating for what that performance is hiding just as much as what it's showing. Kevin had no idea any of this was being measured. He thought the 90 days were about learning the systems. He was learning the systems, but the frame was being built around him while he stood inside it, unable to see the edges. Kevin's 30-day check-in lasted 12 minutes. Christine said he was adjusting well. His 60-day check-in was rescheduled once, then held in the hallway between 2 other meetings. Christine asked if he had everything he needed. He said yes. She nodded and walked toward the elevator. If Kevin had understood what these check-ins actually were, he would have noticed something critical. They weren't getting longer. They weren't getting more detailed. The questions weren't deepening. In organizations where someone's trajectory is genuinely positive, check-ins evolve. New responsibilities surface. Conversations shift from evaluative to collaborative. Managers start bringing new hires into things rather than checking on them. Kevin's check-ins were flattening. That was a signal. He just didn't know it was a signal. His 90-day review happened in a small office on a Tuesday afternoon. Christine told him he was doing well. She used the phrase settling in. She mentioned that some people take longer than others. She mentioned once, almost offhandedly, that there was a quarterly project review coming up and that she'd loop him in. He left that meeting feeling good. He bought coffee for the team the next morning. What he didn't know was that Christine had already filled in the 90-day decision column in her file. The word she typed was limited. She hadn't told Kevin this. She wouldn't. There would be no formal meeting, no documented feedback trail that looked like a negative evaluation. The assessment was simply over, and the conclusion had been reached the way most 90-day conclusions are reached, quietly, internally, without appeal.
3 months later, 6 months into the job, the quarterly project review happened without him. Kevin found out on a Thursday when a colleague messaged him asking how the meeting went. Kevin hadn't been in the room. He hadn't been copied on the recap email. When he asked Christine about it, she said the scope had shifted and that his piece was being covered by someone already embedded in the project. She said it without looking up from her screen. This is what the 90-day trap looks like once the window has closed. The decision was quiet, undocumented in any way Kevin could access, and final. There was no second evaluation, no reset. His role was being managed down slowly, reassigned by attrition, made smaller by the quiet removal of scope, rather than any formal conversation. His title stayed exactly the same. The architecture of the role was being disassembled around him, while everything on paper looked unchanged. Kevin stayed at Callaway Group for 22 months. He was never looped back into a major project. He left with a resignation letter, a 2-week notice, and a farewell Slack message that got 11 reactions. By the time he submitted it, the decision had already been made by the people who had been watching since March. Every company has 2 sets of performance metrics, the visible ones and the invisible ones. The visible ones are in your onboarding packet. Hit your targets, complete your training modules, attend the required meetings, show up on time. Those are the baseline. Meeting them keeps you employed. They do not move you forward. The invisible ones are never written down anywhere you can find, but they are absolutely being recorded in files you will never open by people who will never tell you what they wrote. The invisible metrics include things like which senior stakeholders' attention you managed to earn in your first 2 weeks and how. Not just that you met them, but whether the communication style in that first all hands registered as confident or uncertain to the people in the room with the most influence. Whether the first moment you didn't know something and had to decide in real time whether to guess, deflect, or ask told the people watching something they hadn't expected about your judgment. These moments feel like small things in the moment. They are not small things. They are the data points that form a picture, and once that picture becomes clear in someone's mind, it almost never gets reopened. The people who move quickly through organizations understand this very early. They understand that the 90-day window isn't a period of low stakes. It's a period of compressed, permanent stakes. Every interaction is data. Every email is a sample. Every handled and mishandled moment is being added to a cumulative assessment that happens continuously, silently, and without announcement. By the time most new hires realize they're being evaluated this way, the evaluation is usually already done.
So what do you actually do with this? Because awareness without action is just anxiety. Move 1. Flip the orientation. Most new hires spend 90 days orienting themselves to the company. The people who break through also spend those same 90 days orienting themselves to what the company is deciding about them. These are different activities. The first is absorption. The second is observation. Who has real influence here? Not just title, but actual decision-making weight. What does this organization reward visibly? What gets people quietly sidelined? Study the environment as hard as you study the job. Move 2. Make your check-ins evolve. If your 30-day check-in is 12 minutes and your 60-day check-in is in a hallway, that is a signal. Your job is to change that trajectory deliberately. Come to every check-in with one substantive observation about the business, one specific question about where you can add more value, and one update on something you've proactively moved forward. You are not waiting to be evaluated. You are actively shaping the evaluation. Move 3. Secure one senior stakeholder early. Not through flattery, through genuine value. Find one person above your direct manager whose work you can make easier, whose thinking you can sharpen, whose problem you can help solve. One real relationship at a senior level in your first 30 days changes the entire political landscape of your evaluation. It gives you a second data point, one your direct manager can't fully control. Move 4. Make the invisible visible. When you handle a difficult moment well, a conflict, an ambiguous situation, a moment where you had to make a call without full information, follow up in writing, not in a self-promotional way, but in a documentation way. Recap emails after important conversations, brief updates that reach slightly beyond your immediate team. You are creating a paper trail of your judgment, not just your output. Move 5. Read the signals on your check-ins. If your conversations with your manager are flattening, getting shorter, less specific, less collaborative, do not wait to see what happens. Raise it directly. I want to make sure I'm on the right track. What's one thing you'd want to see more of from me in the next 30 days? You are forcing the conversation out of the invisible column and into the open where you can actually respond to it. Here's what I want you to take away. Kevin didn't fail because he wasn't smart enough or capable enough. He was both. Kevin failed because he was playing a game he didn't fully understand the rules of, while the people on the other side of the table understood every single one. The 90-day period is not designed to help you land. It's designed to help them decide. And the decision happens whether you're aware of it or not, whether you're actively shaping it or not, whether you ever see the spreadsheet or not. The people who come out of those 90 days with real momentum, with scope that expands, with relationships that deepen, with names that come up in rooms they're not in, they're not necessarily more talented. They just understood earlier that the evaluation was happening, what it was actually measuring, and that they had an active role in shaping what it concluded. You have that same understanding now. The next time you start somewhere new, or the next time you're in a situation where you sense the frame being built around you, remember Kevin. Remember the file you will never see. And remember that the columns are being filled in regardless. The only question is what you're going to put in them. That's it for today. If this hit differently than you expected, drop a comment below. I want to hear what you're thinking. Subscribe if you're new and share this with someone about to start a new job. And I'll see you in the next one.